And good morning to all of you. I'm sorry, my throat is a little bad, so please bear with me. I'm very new to the higher education sector. I've been scientist throughout, but I've been given this responsibility of spearheading the higher education sector as a part of my job as Secretary UGC. As you know, this is a vast area, and I'm perhaps may not be worthy of presenting the entire scope of the higher education in India. I'll confine myself to the initiative taken by the UGC and what kind of roadmap we have for the future. Let me begin with the mandate of UGC. The University Grant Commission was established by an Act of Parliament in 1956. As you know, the education is in concurrent list. When we started after independence, it was in the domain of state governments. The one very important responsibility which union government has towards education is to determine and maintain the standard of teaching, examination, research and extension. And that is the mandate UGC has. Beside this, it is supposed to promote and coordinate university education. It is supposed to provide grants to different universities and colleges, and also to establish common facilities, services and programs for a group of universities. If you look at the organizational structure of UGC, we have a commission, we call it University Grant Commission. Commission is chaired by a chairman, which is full-time employee of the UGC. It has some 10 members who work as in honorary capacity. They are eminent scholars in the country who are part of this commission. We have a position of vice chairman. The secretary UGC is supposed to be the administrative head of the UGC. We have 7 regional offices located in different parts of the country. We have 13 bureaus, all headed by joint secretaries. And then we have the lower level officers and staff. In total, we are 800 people work for the university and colleges. Look at the total number of institutions which we have. We have total number of degree awarding institutions, roughly 700, 694 or something. We have universities number total 620 in the country, where we have central universities, we have state university, we are doomed to be university and private university. There are something like 36,000 colleges in the country, degree colleges. And mind you, these do not include the distance education. That is separately. If you look at the kind of category-wise, discipline-wise student enrollment, we have largest enrollment in the art sector. Then we have science, commerce and other areas. The total number of enrollment is category-wise. Number of graduates, almost 86% of the total students in the country are studying in undergraduate course. About 12% postgraduate, and diploma and certificate about 1%. And only 0.8% the total number of students are doing research, that's PhD and postdoc. I must mention here that as on date, we have something like 20 million students in the country. And I must, because I am a person from research background, must mention that even though the research part is only 0.8% number of students, but seeing the entire gamut of research, I am talking about including the institution, scientific institution, as well as the university and colleges put together, the government investment in research is roughly 0.95% of the GDP. And country is aiming to increase this percentage to 2% in the next, at least by end of this plan period. So there is a focus of the government on research and innovation. If you look at the total expenditure of higher education, we are roughly around 4% in total higher education, out of which about 1.3% is of share of the higher education. Now, basically, if you look at the broad goals of UGC, or rather I'll say broad goals of higher education in the country, there are three main pillars of this goal. One is providing access or expansion. Second is equity, and third is excellence. Many people question that there is a dichotomy, there is a kind of the contradiction or mismatch among the three. If you increase the access, excellence may be compromised. Or if you increase the equity part, that might also compromise the excellence. But that is not the case. I must mention that India is a unique country. We can't adopt a model from anywhere else in the world. We are a country with so much diversity: caste, creed, religion, region, food, economic status. And you just can't work on excellence part alone while creating access. Equity is part of the country policy for progress, for development. Development cannot be without including people in the weaker section, or without including people from the poorer areas and region and religion. And therefore, the equity cannot be left out while making excellence. This is the challenge which we face, that while we are targeting a 30% of GER by end of this 5-year plan, from today what we have 18.8%, we have to keep in mind that both the equity and excellence also are addressed with equal emphasis. This is the progress. If you look at plan by plan, and you find that there are so much progress in terms of number of colleges or universities, and also the number of students, how they are increasing in number. And particularly I must mention that during past about a decade, there has been an exponential growth in number of educational institutions in the country. As I mentioned that, we decided, consciously we have decided, that when we are taking initiative, then we need to address access and equity together. So when we are talking about enhancing access, you must see that equity is also addressed. There are several, I'm not going to read out those things. There are several initiatives which we took are actually addressing mainly three types of equity level. A, social equity, the SC, ST, OBC, are they properly addressed? B, to some extent minority. C, the regions like northeastern regions, or the regions like Jammu Kashmir, or there are states like Bihar or Jharkhand and all, where the emphasis, greater emphasis are required. So there are institutional initiatives which we have taken, keeping in mind both the expansion as well as the equity. A large number of fellowship, again emphasizing both access and equity, large number of equity, fellowship and scholarship programs which we started, and very successfully being run. The one which I wanted to emphasize is, for example, Rajiv Gandhi National Fellowship for SC/ST is becoming very popular among SC/STs now. And in fact, all the scholarship I must mention here, which are given by UGC, are now online and direct cash transfer to student. It's not through universities or colleges. In fact, when the government launched this program of DBT, direct benefit transfer, our 6 scheme figure in that. We want that the benefit should not only go direct to the student, but it should go without any delay. And that used to be the case earlier when the universities were being involved for disbursing the fellowship. There have been some programmatic support system also under the, when we are talking about the excellence part. And they are in terms of various programs, schemes, which are targeting the institutions, both at the university level and at college level, and also the departments which need, within the universities or colleges, need some kind of support and motivation. And many of them, I don't want to elaborate on this, many such kind of programs which are creating. But also, one of the things which is the focal point of the creating excellence is the quality of teachers. Unless we improve the quality of the teachers, we are not going to create excellence. Excellence is not created by the student. It is created by the teachers. In fact, this, when we were evaluating the performance of the various universities, we found that some of the state universities are doing exceedingly well as compared to the central universities. If the performance is linked to the fund support, central university gets the best fund support. But some of the states, they emphasize on the quality of teachers. I want to mention 2 universities which have made excellent performance. One is Jadavpur University, and another one is Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. They are state universities. Their performance is exceedingly well. We want to create such kind of mechanism through support system, which through programs, through schemes, to university and colleges which can achieve the excellence. The SAP program which we started, is kind of grant given to a particular department in the university to grow, to buy the equipment, to buy better infrastructure and all, and create excellence. There are several research support also provided for creating excellence. And again, I'm emphasizing here that we are focusing on the quality of teachers and the researchers. Major research program, minor research program, research awards, and such kind of thing, BSR, meritorious fellowship. They're all focusing on teachers. Because this teacher will create the excellence. We have taken several new initiatives. Faculty resource program we started. We are starting a very interesting scheme that's called joint appointment system. A teacher in the university can choose to go to a research lab and work there for a defined period of, say, 2 years or 3 years. A scientist in the research lab can switch over to the university and teach. The kind of disparity which we have today between the infrastructure facility available in the university versus the national science institutions, we want to bridge that. We also wish to create national facilities so that can be shared by everybody. We are focusing on innovations. We are also bringing, in fact, we have brought out a new guideline for student entitlements. In fact, this word entitlement word never used earlier. A lot of program of student awareness, student how student anti-ragging portal, and all those were already created by us so much. But what is the entitlement of a student? Is something to ponder on. Several new initiatives for bringing the excellence. So far the accreditation was voluntary. And some of the universities, leading universities in the country, chose not to go for accreditation. And the good example is Delhi University. Why should I go for accreditation? I am the best. JNU had not gone till recently, now it had. So when you grow higher, and I remember a scientist for my discipline who did not bother to take even PhD. Grown like this, he became the czar of the meteorology without PhD. And he says, I can produce hundreds of PhD. Why do I need PhD? We now have made the assessment and the accreditation mandatory for every institution in the country to go for. We are also bringing several initiatives in creating collaboration between Indian and the foreign reputed universities. We have a bill which is still pending with the Parliament, but we are bringing some regulation to at least kick start in this area. We started the process of ombudsman appointment in the university. Again, I will say that many of the universities, they feel that, why do we provide so much freedom to students and teachers, associations and all? But it is part of a democratic process in the country. Just like I said, the students have entitlement. Students have several rights. And there are several problems taking place in terms of ragging is one part, but there are several things about where should a student go? Where do they go? When I took over Secretary UGC, I found my mailbox is full of complaints from students and teachers. Is it not humanly possible to address all of them, even if I wish so? We have created this new guidelines for the appointment of ombudsman in the universities. That ombudsman will not be part of, normally university will say registrar will look after or dean will look after the student grievances. No, he will be a retired judge of that particular state, from some high court or this session court or whatever. We in fact have set up a national women forum, and we are in fact process of creating some kind of guidelines for all the universities. I'll tell you a very interesting thing. Recently when a portal was designed for students, fortunately I was invited to that when they were finalizing the portal, and I saw. And very happily they were showing me all these things. Sir, we have created this thing. A student can go to the web portal, register themselves, put their problems on this, and then it will be addressed through a redressal mechanism. And I asked this question, what about the women harassment case? I said, they can also go. You tell me, a girl who is being harassed, can she go and reveal her name on the portal with her registration number and all, and then the entire thing become public? We don't have even sensibility about that. And I stopped that. I said, this is not the way to address these sensitive problems like the problem of women harassment. Anyway, so there are several things which we are working on, the research focus system on. Mr. Chairman, please let me know how much time I have.
Yes, almost.
Okay, so let me come to another 5 minutes I will take, and several research initiatives which we have taken on these things. Institutional, several new initiative, international initiative, like we are working on this Seeking Obama Knowledge Initiative with the US, also with UKRI, with the UK, and several. I think we are now trying to bring the university and institution in the country with the best universities and institutions in the world and put them together for research and innovation. I think I can skip some of these things. Now this slide I want to put that, what is our strategy for the future? We need to work on policy research. And this is the area which we have been, even though under several initiatives we did have this kind of, for example, Canadian studies, we had the studies, an American study, Chinese studies, several strategies, I think. But I think we need to go even beyond that. And I don't want to elaborate here, but policy research is within. We are establishing think tanks, discipline-wise, and this almost the work has been completed. So far, the states have always been feeling isolated, and we are now, in fact, there is a mission which we are launching on the lines of Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan and Shiksha Abhiyan. We are launching a program called RUSA, Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan, and we have earmarked a lot of fund for that. We want to bring states more closer into our work and trying to work with them for promoting the higher education in the country. There are many more. There is a concept of Meta University which we started, this experiment we have done. I think I can skip some of this thing. I just wanted to mention that we started a new program on the innovation, and we have now in fact invited expression of interest from the universities and universities with A-graded level of the accreditation to submit this kind of proposal to us on 3 count: the universities, innovation programs and cluster. And this new initiative which we have taken in 12th plan is expected to bring a new direction to the research and innovation in the country. There are some international initiatives. I don't have time to elaborate, but as I mentioned that we are working with many countries, and also want to mention that we are now in fact strengthening our regional cooperation. Last week I was there in Kathmandu. We had a meeting of the heads of UGCs and the equivalent bodies in the region, and we have in fact decided to work together in the regional cooperation, a very strong regional cooperation agenda. We are also creating authentic database. This is absolutely required, and I don't have time to elaborate, but one thing I must mention that we are very poor in data collation and collection and the integration. That's a very important area which we are working on.